What's up, fellow lords of gaming? Welcome back to the Marvel Future Fight, the Marvels update. Just a little first impression video for you guys. Take a look at some of these uniforms. Fortunately enough, there doesn't seem to be anything in the way of events that they are just looking to harvest money from us for. I mean, we've got the offer for agents thing in here, and I've already done reviews on the offers for agents. I think that, it's a do you find value in it, because you're basically purchasing the crystals, so everything else in the pack are perfectly free. $49.99, that's 55,000 crystals, so you're getting actually 500 crystals plus a tier 2 premium selector, which you could use on Nick Fury or Spectrum, and then you get some boost points and some gold and some energy as well. So if you need the crystals, then it's there for you. The only reason why I would say hold off on these is because we got some of the Black Friday sales, but if memory serves me correct, you're not going to get better deals than this inside the Black Friday sales. I mean, there'll probably be some purchase points there for you to get if you're planning on purchasing them, but overall, I don't really think that you're getting anything. Timeline Survival makes a return. I'm loving that this is here every month, so at least you get the opportunity to basically jump in and get some crystals and some artifacts inside there. Future Pass is up. I'm not really impressed with the special icons for any of the characters that are currently present. It's basically Captain Marvel and Spectrum, and I'm just not impressed by them. Like, that's just the truth of the matter. Like, I'd be lying to tell you that I was impressed by them. I'm not. Other than that, we do have the crystal event, so they did make that worth it inside here. One of the bonus missions is basically a crystal thing, so if you were worried about having some of the crystal events that were going to probably be available to you from the Black Friday sales, they've put a crystal event in there for basically utilizing crystals. So purchasing the uniforms, again, not necessarily a bad thing. They basically kind of even out the playing field there, so that way if you were on the hook about waiting to purchase the uniforms for the Black Friday stuff, now you probably have little reason to be concerned about it. That's just my view on it. Now, in terms of the uniforms, let's take a look at those real quick. We'll start off with Captain Marvel's. To be perfectly honest, it's they went for the realism here, because Brie is definitely lacking in that department. But I hate to say that about it. Let me take that back. I'm sorry. It's just not a good uniform in my opinion overall. In terms of looks, aesthetics, there's a lot of detail here, but it's like facade, superficial detail that just doesn't make the uniform pop. So it's like things that there's nothing in this uniform essentially on it that makes you like, hey, wow, that's really cool. Like the belt buckles and the little gold pieces along with the zippers for the boots, those are really cool little details, but they're not anything that makes the uniform pop out to you off the page. Let's take a look at her skills, which we've already seen inside the preview. I hate to say this, but the review of basically her breakdown of her skills. I've basically told you how I feel about the uniforms in the previous video. If you've watched through the whole thing, they're very minor optimization adjustments that I feel like we're paying for. And her skills, particularly to me, now that I get to see them in my hands, they're cool, but I don't the third skill is probably the best looking skill of them all. It really is. Now I will have to admit that this fifth skill for all of the new uniforms is absolutely bonkers and insane. I love the detail that they've put into it. If you notice, when you press that 5 skill, because it wasn't something that 3RL pointed out, when you press that 5 skill for every single one of these 3 ladies that got the update, it's not that she calls in both of them, is that she has a chance to call in both of them. So if you were to look at it right now, she calls in Kamala Khan, and Kamala's doing her thing. She's basically hammering down some big and fist, and then you basically drop a light ball on them. And then sometimes she calls in Spectrum, and Spectrum does her light fury attack inside there. That's what I was calling anyways, and it looks pretty good. Her update to her tier 3, I will say that skill looks pretty damn good, except that if I remember correctly, we've had characters that have similar skills. I think Gladiator has a similar skill in his 5. I think Icarus has a similar skill. So there's like plenty of similar skills in there. But you know, like I said, and I like the visual effect that they have on the character. It's just the visual effects that they've put into the skills. They're really good on the uniform. I'm just like not sure how well this uniform is going to work out. I love the binary look when you press the 4, and this might be a reason to get me to T4 her sooner rather than later, but we'll have to see. Overall, I think that her kit is fine. It's a nice optimization inside there. She has a really easy rotation, 534. Like, you really can't complain about that rotation. Not a whole lot to do. Don't, like, you see it. There's just there's nothing to complain about. Even her top end rotation is not that difficult. 7 6 5 3 4 7 6 5 3 and then 4. It's there, you know, like you're getting some good hits on it, on the skill as well. 151 hits, isn't bad at all. So it looks good, it looks cool. I'm looking forward to see what her power does inside some of the things. I'm going to do individual videos for all of the characters. Promise I'm going to actually do individual videos for all of the characters. Let's take a look at Kamala Khan. I think that this uniform is a little bit weird for me in terms of like they're giving that uniform to us, because like her facial changes and stuff like that are there, but like realistically, like you look at the two uniforms and there's like slight of eye differences. Like it's very slight of eye differences to me. It's a good looking uniform overall. I think this uniform definitely makes her look like cutesy, you know, in the kind of uniform like that it is. It's cool. Like, you know, the finger color nails and stuff like that still the same. So it's a good uniform overall for her, in my opinion. Let's take a look at some of her skills. I definitely like Kamala's and big in light powers that she has in there. So you can see that with the 5 skills, she calls in Spectrum. Nice. Spectrum does the same effect that she did before. Let me take that off. And then, you know, she called in Spectrum again instead of what you call it. There you go. So Ms. Marvel is there, and she does her rain down of attack where she just fires everything. It looks really good. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to complain too much about the skills overall. In terms of what they've done for her, she's been one of those characters, to be perfectly honest. Like, I love the goose skill, by the way, that like with her new powers that they've basically given her and the way they've made them light effects instead of like her arms growing like Mr. Fantastic. I think that they did a really good job. So like it's a good skill overall. Combos, again, not too difficult at all. We'll just go right to the 2, and you can see 3 5 4 6, really easy combo to rotate through. Not a whole lot, like, I mean, it's dummy proof really at that point, right? So it looks good. I think that this character basically, like, you know, it is what it is. The only problem that I've said, and I've pointed it out, is I'm hoping that either her or Spectrum are going to get a T4 in the mid-month, because like just giving characters uniform never feel that right to me. So I'm hoping like what they're going to plan to do is, because they've given these characters new uniforms, that within the next few months, or, you know, within the mid-month, these characters see T4s, because having a character that's already set at potential transcendence, a character that's already set at T3, it's like they did the Cyclops treatment to him, and I don't like it. Like, that's just the truth of the matter. I don't care for it. Giving uniforms to characters. Now, next we get Captain Thickums, Monica Rambeau. I like, yo, for real, like, she is thick. Like, this may be the thickest character in the game. Like, there's not a whole lot. So outside of the thickness, I will say I appreciate the detail that they did on the hair, getting ethnocentric hair down in the game. Like, I know developers are not accustomed to doing that, and like you're trying to do those things off of memory. We don't end up with a, you know, a mistake like they did with Storm with the facial features and stuff like that. Like, they just plastered black on a white face. And it looks good, like, overall for that. I will say that the uniform on a whole, though, looks very plain. Like, it's flat, you know what I mean? Like, it's pretty flat in design, so there's not a whole lot there. So I'm dying to see what it looks like in the movies, just because I think that it's probably on par with what I've seen in the trailers. Her uniform looks fat, like, but even like these shoulder pads, they look pretty like flat, you know what I mean? So have to see about that overall. We'll take a look at her skills real quick. and you basically like her skills. For some reason, I played with her inside Alliance Battle, and for some reason, like, so I'm calling her team up. She's gonna be called A Team from now. So Spectrum up, A Town down. Now the reason why I say it is because like she's basically got the whole entire A Team. She's got Quasar, she's got America Chavez, she's got herself, and then she calls in either of the two. So it like looks pretty cool when you go straight into her practice combo skills, and you just say like, I'm gonna call off the 6, 5, 4, and 3, right? Really easy. 6, 5, 4, and then the 3, and you basically like, you have to see everything through that animation, but you basically get 4 characters basically on the screen at once. It looks really cool in my opinion. Now the big thing is that like I feel like some of her skills just play out really slow. Like it might just be me. Like I let her play on Alliance Battle, and it was just running through the skills, and I was like, man, for a potential Transcendence character, she is clearing this content really freaking slow. Like like I'm not kidding you, like for some reason or another, the speed on her skills feels extremely slow in execution. Like everything just feels long. Like the 1 skill, look how long it takes to play out. Like the 2 skill inside here is like the quickest skill. Her 3, there's not a whole lot happening on this 3rd skill. Like it's 15 hits, that's it. 15 hits, but it feels like it takes like 5, 6 seconds to take. Like Jesus, like I don't know, like even her 4 skill, when it's happening, there's some hits on it, 26 of them, but just I don't know, man. We're gonna have to see how it plays out and pans out overall, but I think she's gonna probably be a questionable character inside this update. That's just my opinion. And then finally we get the uniform for Nick Fury. Let's just be honest about Nick Fury. My going in impression is that this is just a uniform for Nick Fury to basically finally be used again and be the support king that he is. And like I said, if you pay attention to the character, basically if you go inside here and you look at his passive, superhero allies, they're getting at 30, they're getting an incapacitation effect, and they're getting the damage to super villains by 55. His leadership increased all basic attacks by 60%. His other passive only applies to himself, so it's like removes all debuffs or whatever. And then they took away the 5th skill, which applied to allies. So like that kind of sucks as well, because only to himself. So you're not going to be switching him in and out and playing like, you know, you're not going to be playing cutesy with the character, unfortunately. I thought it was a really cool economy, but you're basically looking at this character overall for what you're getting for his passive abilities inside here. He's got a pretty nice looking uniform. It's the Shaft uniform, so that's what I'm calling him from now on. Inside here, Shaft is basically looking good inside his turtleneck and his purple blazer. But like, you can see like how little they did for this uniform, like for real, like how little they did. The facial is changed, so it's like weird. We got 3 different black men when you look at all of his uniform. It's almost like you would think that he was War Machine, right? Like, for real. Like how many different people have played Nick Fury in Marvel Future Fight? So yeah. I don't know why they've done that, but yeah, it's like we got a different black man playing Nick Fury every single time. Maybe they just, you know, license for Samuel L. Jackson there. Now, Nick Fury's skills, they don't look like they've necessarily changed too much in the way of the character overall. I think, like, you know, look, you can see how long that skill took. Like, think about, like, there's a lot of hits on his 3rd skill compared to Spectrum's, right? But look how long it takes for that. He goes, shoots it. He's going to get attacked in that, car broken in that 2-3 second window where he doesn't have invincibility. His 4th skill I kind of laughed about during the preview because it's essentially still the same exact skill. The only thing is that we had a turret before, and now you get a vehicle that's driving in with a mounted turret. So it's, you know, it's a matter of visual effect inside there. And then he gets his bombardment effect that he has inside there, and it doesn't look bad. And his tier 3, you know, it looks cool. You know, like, I'm not gonna complain about the skill. It's very simple in terms of what they had to pull off for there, just pulling the gun from, you know, from space, the satellite gun, and they just showing you the gun, and then it fires down on Earth and does some pretty significant damage. Like, there's a lot of hits on that skill just between the 2 of them. So it's like a really good one, and he has a really simple practice combo rotation as well, or rotation. 3-5-6-4, 3-5-6, and then just immediately into 4. Really freaking easy, no problem. Look at the hits that Nick gets on that too. Almost 150, 160 hits. That's a good start for the character. Not complaining, but like I said, I've already done it. I'm gonna slap a CTP insight on Nick Fury and call it a day probably, because that's where I think that he's gonna shine the most and his ability to provide the leadership inside there for characters. Like, look, that's just the truth in my opinion. That's what I feel. That's like, we'll see if that pans out any differently. But that's my impression of the update overall so far. I do think that the Alliance Battle update that they did was pretty good. I was not able to hit some of the things today because I'm rushing. I got to go to a meeting this morning, but you can look at the rewards in here. I popped open one of the small chests inside here and I got 2 of the X-Force tokens. So it's probably just like I thought it was, where the small chest is going to be like 1 to 3 and then the medium chest will be like 3 to 5, and then you'll probably end up in the range of, like, if they ever give us a large chest or something like that, it'll probably be 10. So you definitely have reason now to basically be like, hey, like, I'm gonna say fuck it, because, like, for instance, for me, I don't have my Jean built out so that way she could do this mode. Like, she's basically built for PvP. But, you know, being that this is one of the training days and being able to hit 15K with her, you know what? I'm going to say screw it. I'm just going to switch characters over to PvP because that's going to be more worthwhile for me anyways, in hitting those levels, especially like, hey, if I can get the X-Men stuff and basically get characters inside there, that's going to be more beneficial to me anyways for the contents that I really care about. So I'll switch her over and basically hit those numbers there. The training mode is awesome. Like, you know, you really can't complain about this training mode. Like, it's basically give everybody the chance to come here and play around with characters, play around with their modes. So just jump into it. Let me know what you guys think in the comment sections below. So far, like I said, I'm not ecstatic about this update. Nothing really glaring off of me, but it's a good update in terms of what I got for first impressions, especially since we don't have anything in the store. So just basically try to harvest our money. But it's coming. Black Friday is around the corner. Until next time, guys, peace.